2 times 3 times 3 times 3. Regarding change, that's what happens. When we talk about change, we have to differentiate first between internal and external change, and then we go to a 3 times 3 times 3 matrix regarding what actually types of change or changes there are within people. When I talk about change, I talk about deep personal change. And the first time that I was confronted with change was when I was playing handball as I think I was 15, 16 years old. So it's been a while. And being right-handed, as I am, our coach taught us a strategy in order to become unpredictable to our opponents. And that was, I was right-handed. So I played inner circle in defense, and I played inner circle also in offense in back then. And he urged us to switch hands. Remember, maybe when you were younger at school, being a right-handed, right-left, right hand, right with both hands. I tried it, and I failed. I flunked that one. But playing handball, I didn't. So what we did is to dribble with the right hand and dribble to the left to practice. And it was at the beginning extremely uncomfortable. And shooting exercises, throwing exercises with the right hand were, I was quite precise. And then we switched to the left hand, and we had to train that a lot. And that's something that it actually worked, because the opponent was so focused on you throwing with the right hand, and then all of a sudden you did as you were going to throw with your right hand, you passed it to the left hand, and then you scored a goal. The same thing happens with boxing. Some boxers try and they train hard to be able to hit with both hands depending on the circumstances. And then in the military, I remember that we also made some trainings and some exercises to be able to handle the knife and handle the weapons with both hands. Of course, there was a predominant side. In my case, it's still the right side. But that was my first introduction to change management, as you can call it now. Coming back to those 2 times 3 times 3 times 3, that matrix. So the first two, that's internal and external change, and both affect us on a personal level as an individual, not only as an organization. So when I went to college, after serving in the Marine Corps, I studied sociology, communication, and market psychology. And change, especially resistance to change, was it was a major issue back then, and it still is. If we take a closer look at what most change management literature is teaching us about change, we come into those other 3 times 3 times 3 matrix. One of them talks about static, dynamic, and dynamical change. The other one talks about 3 different types of changes, being developmental change, transitional change, and also transformational change. I myself like to look at change in a different manner. I look at it as a analytical change, a strategic change, and also a dynamic, evolving change. What do those 3 times 3 times 3 have in common? Well, the static, the analytical, or the developmental change takes a closer look at before and after. So it basically considers the result, and therefore also it's result oriented. The next one, the dynamic or the transitional, or as I also call it, the strategic change, takes into consideration the whole planning, the change process as a planned, scheduled process, where you have to find out where you are, where you want to go, or what you want to achieve, and then trace the plan, every single step. So it's more of a process-oriented change, still wanting to achieve a result. And the third one, some call it dynamical, some call it transformational, and that's where I call it dynamical. That's when it's unplanned, unforeseen, due either to personal circumstances like illness or like a loss, or due to mainly external circumstances where you are kind of forced to change. That brings us to another one of those of that matrix. That's 2 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 2. Voluntary and forced change. So when you look at change, it's not just a simple endeavor. It's a quite complex process involving evolving and developing. So if you want to change something, make sure you make a proper analysis prior to that change process so that you're not surprised by the result. Thank you. My name is Bernard Schieber. I'm a high-impact, high-performance counselor, coach, and mentor for deep personal change. Looking forward to seeing you again. Thank you. Bye-bye.